She is never truly alone. Behind that silent screen in her hand, 10, 20, maybe 100 men wait patiently for a fragment of her attention. Some arrive polished in luxury, others wear sculpted muscle like armor. They bring charm, status, poetic gestures. And then, there is you. No wealth to flaunt, no godlike physique, no charming rehearsed lines. But there is something else, something deeper, something none of them suspect. Machiavelli would have smiled in your direction, not because you had more, but because you understood something most men never will. That power doesn't emerge from being the best. It rises from being unforgettable, not louder, not more decorated, just undeniable. You could compete, you could throw yourself into the game, send flowers, write verses, wait by your phone like a loyal soldier. But each gesture would only bury you deeper in the pit of the predictable. She wouldn't even know why she lost interest. She'd just feel it. In your tone, in your need, in the trembling tension behind your compliments. That's because a woman's desire doesn't begin with her mind. It's born in her nervous system. The more you try to earn her affection, the faster it slips through your fingers. And the cruel irony? The moment you reshape yourself for her, you become invisible. You become a copy of the last man who bent himself out of shape trying to impress her. And she doesn't even remember his name. You lose not because you're not enough, but because you surrendered your essence in the process. But what if there's another way? A path rarely walked. A strategy that has nothing to do with tricks or fake confidence or overpriced colognes. A blueprint that exists not in performance, but in perception. Psychology, strategy, mastery of presence. This isn't about seduction, it's about emotional dominion. Machiavelli wrote about ruling kingdoms. If he were alive today, he wouldn't sit in palaces, he'd sit in shadows, studying algorithms of desire. He'd whisper to you the truths most men never hear, that women, like rulers, are drawn to rarity, to what cannot be read, to what no one else can seem to reach. What ignites their hunger is not your effort, but your enigma. Not the stories you tell, but the silences you master. You're not here to run a race. The race is already rigged, because the men who compete are the ones who've already lost. They believe attention equals affection. They believe consistency equals connection. And every morning text, every goodnight emoji, every compliment is one more nail in the coffin of mystery. Predictability is the death of desire. They give more, show more, expose more, until they disappear into the pile of men who are simply too available, and what is always available is never valued. Even gold, if handed out like candy, becomes meaningless. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. That too much access kills respect. That too much generosity without cost breeds contempt. And here's what those other men never grasp. When you signal to a woman that you're waiting to be picked, you erase your power. The moment your behavior says, "Please choose me," your energy screams, "I am not worth choosing." Imagine an interview. One candidate walks in, eyes desperate, posture bent, voice pleading. "I'll do anything. Just give me a chance." Does that inspire belief? Does it spark admiration? Or does it drip with the stench of insecurity? True value never begs, it simply is. True confidence doesn't scream, it radiates. And that's what the other 9 never learn. They talk louder, they try harder, and in doing so, they drown in their own noise. A woman doesn't fall for the man who tries the hardest. She falls for the one who unsettles her, the one who disturbs the rhythm, the one she can't categorize. Because when every man follows the same script, it is the man who steps outside it who becomes unforgettable. The one who does not chase, who does not beg, who does not compete. because his life is already full, and she senses it, instinctively, without words. That your silence isn't empty, it's composed. That your absence isn't punishment, it's sovereignty. When a woman meets a man who doesn't rush to validate her, she doesn't feel dismissed, she feels intrigued. And in that intrigue, desire begins to brew. The space between your words becomes the place where attraction breathes. You don't disappear to play games, you step back because your time is sacred. And suddenly, she is no longer in control of the narrative. She's not used to it. She's used to men orbiting her, bending to her moods, checking in on her every thought. But now, she finds herself leaning in, wondering, why does he not reach out? Why is he not like the rest? What is he doing that is more important than chasing me? And that, my brother, is where the game begins to shift. She waits in line. You observe. She gives away her power. You protect yours. While the others offer gifts, attention, and affection, you offer nothing but presence. And it is that presence, that quiet command, that separates the man she forgets from the one who echoes in her mind long after the message ends. That is not arrogance. That is strategy. That is power without noise. The difference between an admirer and an experience is not what you give. It's the energy with which you exist. The rarest men in a woman's life do not flood her with compliments. They awaken emotions she cannot name. And when she walks away, she doesn't remember the words. She remembers the sensation. It is not beauty that seduces her. It is not wealth. It is the quiet self-worth of a man who does not ask to be seen, but who is seen anyway, who, by simply existing, shifts the atmosphere. Because his world is already whole. Because his silence carries the weight of a life that does not beg to be chosen. While others strive to match her ideal, you become the question mark. While others validate her beauty, you disturb her certainty. And in that disturbance, you create desire. The man who bends is forgotten. The man who remains unshaken becomes legend. Machiavelli would not tell you to conquer her. He would tell you to master yourself so completely that she feels the gravity of your presence before you've even spoken. And when she does, it's not what you say that draws her in. It's the energy that whispers, "I do not need to impress you to own this room." You make no announcements, and yet her gaze returns to you. Because in the world of a woman with endless options, the most dangerous man is not the one who competes. It's the one who doesn't need to. She feels it before she understands it. A pull she cannot explain. A tension that makes her curious without permission. Because you are not the answer she was expecting. You are the question she cannot stop asking. And in a world where everyone screams for her attention, you offer her silence wrapped in composure. That silence is not empty. It is a mirror, one that reflects back to her everything she has not yet faced within herself. And that is why she cannot look away. You are not playing hard to get. You are simply not available for anyone who has not earned access. She sees it in the way you speak, measured, grounded, intentional. She feels it in the way you move, deliberate, calm, unapologetic. And what unsettles her most is that you are not detached. You are fully present, but you are not performing. That difference shifts everything. While the others try to win her by giving more, you create value by giving less, but with more precision. You are the man who shows restraint, not because you are weak, but because your energy is too refined to be wasted on uncertainty. That is not manipulation. It is emotional self-governance. And in a world of overexposure, restraint becomes power. You do not react to every text. You do not over-explain. You do not flood her with meaningless reassurances, because you are not here to soothe her ego. You are here to reflect her soul. And while others give her what she expects, you offer what she secretly craves: depth. The ability to feel something real, something that moves beneath the surface, something that lingers. The goal is not to impress her. It is to create moments she cannot erase. Not through performance, but through presence. A glance that holds weight. A silence that speaks volumes. A sentence that cuts through her like a secret she didn't know she carried. And in those moments, you become not just a man, but a mirror of her emotional landscape. You become the one who makes her feel something no one else ever could. That is emotional anchoring, the ability to leave behind not just memories, but emotional fingerprints. When she hears a song, she remembers you. When she walks into a room, she scans for your presence. When she stares out the window on a quiet night, your energy finds her, because your connection was not physical, it was psychological. And what is felt deeply is never truly forgotten. You do not need to be the most handsome. You do not need to be the wealthiest. You only need to be the man who does not lose himself. The one who never bends just to fit someone else's shape. The one who doesn't wait to be chosen because he has already chosen himself. And that self-respect radiates in everything you do. It is not ego, it is gravity. You know how rare it is to find a man who does not flinch when ignored, who does not break when left on red, who does not crumble when affection is withheld, because he never placed his worth in being wanted. His value was forged in silence, in solitude, in the fire of self-definition, and she can sense it, because every man before you cracked under pressure. But you remain unmoved, and that stillness unnerves her. It challenges her. It awakens her curiosity. Because women don't remember consistency. They remember contrast. And you, in your quiet defiance, become the contrast she can't ignore. Others gave her a pattern. You give her paradox. Others explained themselves. You made her wonder. Others chased. You walked away. And that shift, it leaves an imprint. That imprint becomes her new standard. The man who made her feel something she cannot replicate. The one who interrupted her emotional routine. The one who didn't just enter her life. He rewrote the script. And from that moment on, every man she meets is measured against you. Even if she doesn't admit it. Even if she never sees you again. Because your absence speaks in her thoughts louder than their presence ever could. You did not overwhelm her with affection. You did not bombard her with effort. You made her feel seen in a way that disoriented her. Not because you pandered, but because you perceived. You understood the cracks beneath her armor, the beauty beyond the surface, the wildness behind her calm. You saw her, not the image she projected, but the essence she tried to hide. And that kind of gaze, it leaves a scar. You didn't chase her because you weren't trying to own her. You were trying to awaken her. And when a woman feels awakened, when she feels transformed, not entertained, she ties that feeling to the source, to you. That is neuroscience. That is psychology. That is power. And it is the kind of power that Machiavelli would have praised, not the power to dominate, the power to influence, even in your absence. While others seek proximity, you become presence. While they try to stay relevant, you become unforgettable. Because relevance fades, but the echo of an experience never dies, especially when that experience forced her to confront parts of herself she didn't know existed. You do not want to be the man she keeps around. You want to be the one she cannot replace. And replacement is impossible when what you offer isn't external. It is internal. You give her a feeling, not a checklist. a vibration, not a transaction. And that is what every other man misses. They focus on what to give her. You focus on what you awaken in her. They seek her attention. You awaken her self-awareness. And in doing so, you shift the entire balance of power. You become not the man she desires for comfort, but the man she needs for transformation. And here's the truth. Most women don't even know they're searching for that until they feel it. Until they meet a man who stands like a mountain. Still, grounded, unshaken. Until they meet a man who speaks with intention and listens with presence. A man who doesn't flinch when she tests, doesn't bend when she withdraws, and doesn't panic when she pulls away. Because that man, he is not afraid to lose her. He is afraid to lose himself, and in that refusal to self-abandon, he becomes magnetic. Not loud, not boastful, but so quietly captivating that his absence becomes louder than any other man's noise. That is the essence of emotional authority. That is the difference between a suitor and a standard. And when she realizes that, her behavior changes. Her tone softens. Her attention sharpens, because she senses that she's no longer dealing with a boy who wants to impress her, but a man who has nothing to prove. A man who isn't asking for approval, but offering alignment. And if the alignment is not there, he doesn't fight. He doesn't negotiate. He simply withdraws with peace. And that departure, that calm silence, is what echoes loudest. Because it is not silence out of spite. It is silence out of self-respect, and that is something she's rarely seen. The others linger long after they've lost their value, afraid that leaving will erase them. But you leave before your worth is diluted. Not because you're running, but because you know exactly when your presence stops being appreciated. That's the man she cannot forget. The one who exited with dignity, while the rest clung to hope. You do not explain. You do not chase. You do not protest. You simply disappear, and in that vanishing act, you become permanent in her memory. Because the human mind doesn't hold on to consistency. It clings to disruption, to the emotion that pierced the routine, to the man who, without force, changed her internal climate. And while the others speak louder in their desperation, your silence grows louder with time. She checks her phone, hoping for a message you never send. She replays your words, not because you were charming, but because they carried weight. She remembers your gaze, not for its intensity, but for the unsettling clarity behind it. And here's what none of them realize. She doesn't crave effort. She craves effect. She doesn't need you to be perfect. She needs to feel different when she's around you. Not more admired, more awakened, more connected to the version of herself she rarely meets. That is the emotional shift that no one else gives her. That is why you cannot be compared. Because you were not performing. You were revealing. Not yourself, but her. And this is where the power sharpens. Because if you truly understand her psychology, you stop speaking to her ego and start speaking to her identity. You stop trying to impress her and begin reflecting her. You become the emotional experience she didn't know she was missing. And when she tries to explain you, she can't. Because you didn't leave behind facts. You left behind a feeling, a vibration, a tension, an imprint that no one else can replicate. You are not the 10th man in line. You are the one who stepped out of line and made her wonder why. While they compete for a place in her world, you build one so rich, so full, so magnetic that she wants to step into yours. Not because you demanded it, because you live in such alignment with yourself that it becomes irresistible. That is what Machiavelli would have taught, not to beg for power, but to embody it. Not to manipulate emotions, but to master your own so deeply that others cannot help but feel them. And that level of presence only comes from one thing: choosing yourself first. Every day, every decision, every interaction. You choose your peace, your purpose, your standards. And when that choice becomes non-negotiable, something shifts in the energy you carry. She feels it. She sees it. She does not hear it in your words. She senses it in your silence. That calmness, that focus, that detachment from outcome. Not indifference, but emotional autonomy. You are not here to be chosen like a prize on a shelf. You are the one who chooses. And if the connection is not mutual, you walk. That walk is the loudest sound in the world. She has never seen that before. A man who loves with intensity but detaches with grace. A man who stays only where he is respected, who demands nothing but accepts nothing less than alignment. And that stance, that quiet refusal to self-betray, leaves her no room to play the games she once dominated. Because when she sees that you can walk without bitterness, without rage, without needing to prove anything, she realizes the truth. This man cannot be manipulated. He cannot be shaped by desire. He does not shrink for love. He is already whole. That is why she returns, not to reclaim what was lost, but to reconnect with the part of herself you awakened. Because when a woman experiences transformation in your presence, when she begins to question her own patterns, when she rethinks what she deserves, that transformation is tied to your name, even if she never says it aloud. You are not a memory. You are a standard. The reference point that makes the others invisible. And it is not because you gave her more. It's because you gave her something no one else dared to. A mirror, a moment of stillness, a spark of depth in a world of performance. You did not try to become her dream. You challenged her to wake up. While they fight to be needed, you become necessary. Not because she depends on you, but because she cannot unfeel what you made her feel. That's why the man who is willing to walk away is always the one who ends up staying the longest. Not out of fear, but by choice. Because when you do not fear losing her, she begins to fear losing you. And that, brother, is when the tables turn. When your silence speaks for you. When your absence weighs more than their affection. When your energy lingers longer than their presence. You are not trying to be unforgettable, you simply are. Because you live in alignment with a code most men don't even know exists. They call it cold. They call it distant. But it is neither. It is clarity. It is the refusal to water yourself down just to be tolerated. It is the wisdom to know that if you are not respected, you do not remain. And when she sees that in you, something ancient inside her stirs. The primal understanding that this is no ordinary man. This is not a man to be tested, but to be treasured. And the more she resists that truth, the louder it becomes. You didn't conquer her. You made her feel something sacred, something no other man dared offer. You reminded her of who she could be, and that kind of man, the man who awakens, is never forgotten. So if you came here to learn how to make a woman choose you, you now understand the deeper truth. She does not choose with logic. She chooses with memory, with emotion, with the echo of moments that touched her core. You are not here to win her over. You are here to become so emotionally undeniable that her very system remembers you. Because the ones who try to impress are forgotten. But the man who builds emotional gravity, he stays, even when he's gone.